Okay, so your job automated, and honestly, corporate America basically stood up at the all hands meeting and said, "We found a way to do your job cheaper, and it is spelled AI."
Yeah, it is like waking up to find out your boss replaced you with a chatbot that does not need coffee breaks or health insurance, just like more server space and a subscription fee that is somehow still cheaper than your salary.
Welcome, everyone. This is Weekly Market Breakdown, and today we are talking about the 2026 wave of tech and white collar layoffs tied to AI, the buzzword that now comes with a severance package attached.
Because apparently the future of work is do more with less, where less is mostly people. Which, Kyla, I have to say is a very bold corporate strategy when the people are the ones buying your product.
Right, Jordan? It is a little like a restaurant firing all the waiters and then being confused why the dining room feels weird. So here's the setup. Layoff trackers show that tens of thousands of tech and digital first jobs have been cut this year across more than 200 companies.
That is not just trimming the fat, that is like switching the whole restaurant to vending machines and calling it a culinary transformation.
A growing chunk of those cuts is explicitly blamed on AI and automation. Firms are rolling out systems that write product descriptions, categorize listings, handle customer support, assist with pricing, and then turning around and shrinking the teams that used to do all of that.
Basically, the robots are not just coming for the factory floor anymore. They are coming for the back office, the help desk, the junior analyst, and honestly, probably the person who writes the per my last emails. Which, okay, maybe that one is fine.
What makes this extra spicy, Jordan, is that many of these companies are still profitable, strong revenue, healthy margins, and still laying people off.
Right? Because nothing says we are innovating like announcing record revenues in the same breath as, and also, goodbye to about 20,000 of you. It is the corporate equivalent of winning the lottery and immediately cutting your family's allowance for efficiency reasons.
Surveys of finance chiefs run with help from regional Federal Reserve banks suggest they privately expect AI-related job cuts this year to be like several times higher than what companies have publicly announced.
So the press release says a few strategic restructurings, and the actual internal spreadsheet says we are quietly rearranging half the org chart before anyone notices the org chart is missing people.
Why does this matter beyond tech? Because when high-paid knowledge jobs disappear in clusters, it hits local housing markets, restaurants, coffee shops, and small businesses that depend on that spending.
When the engineers stop ordering overpriced salads for lunch every day, the salad place 100% notices the AI revolution. Supply chains of vibes and avocado toast disrupted.
There is also the inequality angle. If AI lets firms raise productivity and profits without sharing those gains through wages or new hiring, the gap between capital and labor just keeps widening, something central banks and international institutions have been flagging for years.
In other words, the pie gets bigger, Kyla, but somehow your slice is the same size as before. Just now it comes in a box that says AI powered on the side, like that is a flavor.
Honestly, some companies are funding reskilling and redeployment, trying to move workers into AI adjacent roles, and that is genuinely good.
It is great. Except the pace of change is like a high-speed train, and a lot of workers are standing on the platform holding a pamphlet titled Introduction to Prompt Engineering with no idea which train they're supposed to catch.
The big open question is whether the new jobs AI creates, data roles, engineering, product design, show up fast enough and in big enough numbers to actually offset the losses, or whether we just live through a messy, stressful transition period that lasts like a decade.
And in the meantime, if your resume is starting to feel like a MySpace page, you built it out carefully, picked the perfect layout, and now the only visitor is a bot named Tom. That is not a personal branding crisis. That is just the economy moving to a new platform and forgetting to tell you the password.
We will keep watching the data on this one so you do not have to spend your lunch break quietly Googling, "Is my job automatable?" while pretending to eat a sandwich and think about nothing.
And honestly, if this whole episode felt a little too real, that is kind of the point. The math of automation does not care about your performance review. Hit subscribe, check out the other breakdowns, and we will be here the next time the efficiency spreadsheet comes for another industry.